Happy Sunday, Childcare C-Suite. I am going to ask you to like and subscribe so that we can continue to grow this channel. For the past 2 weeks, we've been looking at the top 10 numbers that every childcare owner must know. We've already taken the time to review revenue. It's about the money that's coming into our center. And we talked about the different types of revenue streams. Then we have number 2, which we focused on last week, occupancy rate. What percentage of your center is full? And we mentioned that you want to be between 85% and 100% full, because at that moment you are making money. And so today is a number that none of us really talk about. This number, which is called your break-even enrollment. That number will tell you exactly how many enrollments you need to make sure that you can pay every single bill inside of your building. Now, I call it break-even enrollment because you guys know why. I do not count children, we count enrollments. So for me, even though I'm licensed for 179, I can actually enroll. I have a total of 216 enrollments. I think I said 219 the last time, but I did the math. So I can have 216 enrollments. Why is this break-even enrollment important? Real simple. If you know how many enrollments you need to just break even, that means you're not losing money and you're not making money, but you are able to pay your bills, and it allows you to sleep at night when you know that number. So I need to find out, for this 216 enrollments that I can bring into my building, how many of this 216 must I have in order to stay afloat? How many enrollments do I need to get out of this 216 in order to make sure I can pay all the bills? That's what we want to learn today. So I'm going to teach you how to figure this out. In order to find out your break-even enrollment, right now, don't let your eyes go here. Focus on this part, the formula. It's an easy formula. It's your total monthly expenses. So you're going to look at your expenses for 1 month. Since we're in the month of August, you don't know all of your expenses yet. So maybe look at July or June. I am going to use my expenses from June so that we can use it as an example. But it's your total monthly expenses divided by your average monthly tuition rate. That means, what is the average tuition of your building, of your school? So the way that you're going to figure that out is not by pulling out your tuition sheet and adding up all the numbers and dividing it. No, that's the wrong way. I'm going to teach you how to do this. So the formula is easy. It's your total monthly expenses divided by your average tuition rate. That will give you your break-even enrollment. But there are some numbers you need to know. What are your current expenses for either the month of June or July? For me, for the month of June, I spent $127,000. Now, what we have to figure out is our average tuition rate. And right now, I don't have that information, but let's see what other information you're going to need to know. You need to know how much money revenue did you bring in the month of June. I am going to put that I brought in $160,000 in the month of June. So I have some numbers that I already know. I know what my expenses were for the month of June. This is all June. I know how much money or revenue I brought in the month of June, and I know what my enrollments were in the month of June. You know what? I made a mistake. That's my current enrollment. June, it dropped a little bit. So it was actually, I'm going to put 180. Okay, that's what it was, 180 enrollments. So now I have to figure out for my formula, what is my average tuition rate? The way that you figure out your average tuition rate, you're gonna write down what was your total monthly revenue, your monthly revenue divided by your number of enrollments. Okay? So what was my monthly revenue? $160,000 for the month of June, and my enrollments at that time was 180. So when I do that quick math, that means my average tuition for that month was $888. Okay, so now I can add this number right here. So I have my expenses, which was $127,000. My average tuition rate was $888. My monthly revenue was $160,000, and my current enrollments was 180. What is this down here that I had to figure out? In order to find out my break-even enrollment, I got to know my monthly expenses divided by my average monthly tuition rate. That's what this portion was down here. Now I can figure out my break-even enrollment. Y'all ready to see this? Watch how this happens. So my monthly expenses was $127,000 divided by what? My average tuition rate, which I know is $888. Oops, that's a dollar sign. Let's divide that. 127,000 divided by $888. That means in order for me to break even, I have to have 143 enrollments. Anything below this number, I'm failing. Now, how many current enrollments do I have? 180. So am I making money? You better believe I am. What if this number was 130? Guess what? I'm losing money. So I see that my break-even enrollment, I need 143 enrollments to break even based off of what I currently have in my building. Let's say you are licensed for 50 students, okay? But you can serve 75 enrollments, all right? So let's say your expenses were $30,000. Your monthly revenue, let's say you brought in $55,000. Your current enrollments out of this 75, let's say you're sitting at 60 out of your 75 enrollments. What number we don't know yet is your average tuition rate. So we have to calculate that. How do I find out my average tuition rate? By pulling in my monthly revenue divided by my number of enrollments, which is 60, equals your average tuition rate is $916. So now I can do my break even, which is my total monthly expenses, which is what? $30,000 divided by my average tuition, which is this number right here. That gives me 30,000 divided by 916. That gives me 32. It's saying that my break even is 32 enrollments. How many do you currently have? 60. Why is this important? Okay, this is when I come and talk to you. You have to know how to calculate your break-even enrollment. Because if I'm saying that my base is 32 enrollments and I'm sitting at 60, I'm comfortable. I'm good, right? If my break-even is 32 and I'm sitting at 25, that's telling me I'm gonna lose money. I'm not gonna make any money. So I gotta now hustle and figure out how I'm gonna get these other enrollments in the building. So let's break this down again. To find out your break-even enrollment, you're gonna look at what were my monthly expenses. You gotta go back and look at your profit and loss statement to figure that out. Divided by your average tuition rate. How do I find my average tuition rate? Remember, there is a formula. The formula is your monthly revenue divided by your enrollments. That's how you figure out this number right here. Then you're going to subtract, you're going to take your, not subtract, I apologize, not subtract. You're going to take your expenses divided by that average tuition rate, and that's going to tell you what your break-even enrollment is, right? But you have to be able to calculate your average monthly tuition. When you do that, it's a game changer. It teaches you everything that you need to know about your center. So, Childcare CFO, we're not going to operate in the dark anymore. We're not going to operate blind. We are going to know exactly what my enrollment should be. Now, caveat, you cannot use that same enrollment every single month, because some months your enrollment goes up, and so that means your expenses will go up. You might have to bring on another teacher. So each month, if your enrollment changed somehow, then you have to recalculate your break-even enrollment. And that's easy. It's easy math, right? Real simple to do. It's knowing the formula. But get into the habit of doing this on a monthly basis, because you can predict how much money you will make. You can predict if you're going to lose money, and you can predict how many more enrollments do I need to go after. Okay, so that's your job this week. If you didn't do the occupancy rate, which is your number of enrollments, go ahead and find that out. And then you're able to successfully calculate this. It's not hard. Don't you dare tell me you can't do it. If you want to operate as a better owner, if you want to operate without stress, you got to take the time to learn these numbers. And I'm giving you simple, easy math to help you figure it out.